Good morning, class. I'm looking at your practice from Friday, and a lot of us need some more review on this, and that's understandable. I didn't actually learn how to do some of this syntax structure until I was teaching it in my 20s. I had intuitively learned how to write longer sentences and shorter sentences in high school, but I didn't really know what I was doing. It's kind of like how the Beatles at first, they were using really cool chords by moving their fingers around on the fretboard of the guitars, but they didn't know the name of the chords. And in reality, you don't need to know the names of an appositive phrase versus a participle phrase or an infinitive phrase, but it can help. And honestly, as juniors and seniors, I think this is a really perfect time in your writing to get this understanding of what these phrases are. There are 5 types of phrases, and many of you are already using them in your writing, and it really helps adding clarity to our writing. So when we're seeing that blue, my blue is changing, revising our syntax structure, our sentence structure. So let's look at the first part of this assignment. I don't think I taught it very clearly, so that's okay. You probably just missed it. But what we were supposed to do is fix the lead-ins here. So you have to go through and edit. Where are there missing lead-ins? Where are semicolons being used? And it should be different punctuation. And I don't want you to go and look up the quotes, what page number, but what information is needed in a parent's, right? If we are going to look up the page number, you can just add a little number sign to save time. So if we look at one together, let's look at B. This is a great quote, right? This was one of our students' quotes they found. It was a golden line, but they misused the punctuation here. What should go here instead of a semicolon? Semicolons join 2 sentences, kind of like and or but. You linked ideas. The colon is a different tool. It basically says, look here. It also joins the ideas. Notice Aphrodite assists Hippomenes with love. So we know in this quote there's going to be something about love. So that colon links and says, look over here for this. That's one way a colon works for quotes. There's another way that you can use a colon in your writing, and it's the listing effect. I need to bring lots of stuff to school. Colon. Now you can do a list. My backpack, my mask, my cell phone, my brain. See how that colon works to set off a list? There are 3 ways we can use colons, and that's 2 of the 3, the quoting, lead-ins, and then the listing effect. Now, let's talk about appositive phrases. Again, it does not matter in 6 months, 2 years, if you remember exactly what an appositive phrase is, unless you're an English teacher or a professional writer. But we want to be using them intuitively in our writing. And I've been using them all the time in my study guides. I don't know if you've intuitively noticed it. So let's fix this one. The fates, they reveal what will happen to the suitor. This isn't clear. Now, if we were just going to change it without a appositive phrase, it would be that. The fates reveal what will happen to the suitor. There's no appositive phrase there. An appositive phrase is like this. And this is the common comment I'm giving back to you. So look at my example here. This isn't a complete sentence, but it's showing you the appositive phrase after Hercules. Hercules, comma, a strong hero. Or Jason, comma, a one-sandaled, ambitious protagonist. These appositive phrases add description to a noun. They often start with a or the. So if you start with a and or the, that's often a way to get your appositive phrase starting. It's not necessary, but it is my first tip when I'm teaching this phrase. And here's the thing is, you can remove the phrase and it would still be a complete sentence. That's how you know. It's extra information. So the fates, comma, who are they? The mythical something, comma, reveal what will happen to the suitors. See how we can remove that appositive phrase and it's still going to be a complete sentence? I call this adding blue whenever we're expanding our sentence structure. And the appositive phrase is one of the easiest phrases to learn because we have that tip of using a, an, or the, and we know we can remove it. Now, here's something cool about appositive phrases. You can move them around. You can move it to the beginning of the sentence in front of the noun they're describing, and that would be called an introductory phrase. Okay? We also are learning a comma rule with phrases. All phrases work the exact same way. It doesn't matter which 5 of the phrases you're using. The comma rule is if you put it in the middle of the sentence, it's offset by commas. And when you're reading it for the pause, you can see why. Let's listen to that. I'm going to edit my sentence here as I show you the other example. Hold on a second. All right, so I'm going to add that appositive phrase. The fates, comma, the mythical ladies, reveal what will happen to the suitors. Notice our punctuation here. This is offset by commas. And this was one way that I started learning my comma rules that I even didn't know after college. I had to teach myself during my 20s so I could teach it to my students. All phrases use these exact same rules. So once you learn one rule with a phrase, you can use them with all the phrases. What are the other phrases called? Well, we learn in appositives. We have prepositional phrases. I'm sure you've heard of that. Into, over, those type of words. We have participles. Participle phrases basically start with a verb in ing. Running across the field, comma, that's a participle. Or if it's past tense, ran across the field, or an ed verb. We have infinitives. Those start with to verb. To go to school, the bus had to. It's not a great sentence, but infinitives always start with to and then the verb. And then there are absolute phrases, which I'm not going to talk about right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might be missing one, but there's about 5 or 6 phrases. And once you've learned one phrase, they all work the same way syntax structure-wise, and they all have the same comma rule. So let's review. Appositive phrases often begin with a, an, or the. They are not complete sentences. You can remove them from the sentence, and it would still be a complete independent clause. We've had some examples. They often work well to describe characters. Hercules, comma, a strong hero. And then lastly, we learned a comma rule. If they introduce the sentence, then there's that comma that is between them and the complete sentence. Or if they're in the middle of the sentence, they're offset by commas. So this is a really great way to learn a comma rule, and most people don't know their comma rules at mastery, and it's just a hard thing to learn. So I want you to go back and revise. We're going to practice this. We're going to have a summative assessment on Friday that's open notes, very short, very writing based, to see how well we're learning how to write with a blue appositive phrase and fixing our quotes. Good luck.